Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first of our 2023 Coffee with EMCSA sessions. My name is Rob Walker, and today I'm joined by Mr. Paul Rogerson. Paul, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today, sir.
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to being part of the conference in April.
Fantastic. So, Paul, for those who don't know you, maybe you give us a little bit of a background, who you are currently working for, and potentially maybe a little bit of history of how you got to where you are today.
Okay, I've been involved in technology and business applications for most of my working life. And for part of my working life, I was a fleet manager for 100 plus waste vehicles in Johannesburg. This gave me a good insight into the toolkits available for fleet managers to achieve customer satisfaction, the P&L, and maximise the residual value of their vehicles. And that was a 4-year learning curve, which says this is what fleet managers really need to use in their fleets.
Fantastic. And currently you are the owner of BBSTelematics, correct?
I own BBSTelematics. I set that up to focus on delivering fleets real broad telematics solutions rather than tracking solutions, but also toolkit to migrate towards EVs and helping them ask the questions of what does it mean to me to have an EV in my fleet.
Fantastic. Well, let's jump straight into it. Paul, you're part of one of our panel discussions around the electrification or the transition of existing fleets to EV fleets. And I think maybe this is one of those things that people, when they talk about EVs, everyone thinks about, your day-to-day driver, your family car, your traditional vehicle. But I think this is one of those ones, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but this is one of those ones where it's an easy win, where we could probably transition a lot of fleets to EVs, and it would make a lot of sense if I'm correct.
I believe for the last 3 years that for South Africa, it would make sense for last mile delivery fleets to take the lead. Why do I say that? Well, they've got a defined delivery area. They return the same base each night. They can manage the drivers better. Got urban routes, so that gives more regenerative braking and more range. And generally, the big fleets tend to have major shareholders drive them to be green. And just an example, just look what Wolves is doing, and they work with Ever Electric. They've got a defined case, defined area, and they know they're going to get good business cases. Where the CFO will save money, and the CEO will say, well, we're saving the planet. Look at the CO2 we're saving. And while South Africa will get to having domestic EVs rolling out, when you've got not much vehicles in place, you go to where the easy wins are. And as you say, Rob, fleets is a good, easy win. And when that gets in place, then we can spin off from there into the bigger public uptake.
Yeah, and I think maybe one of the things that people don't think about when they talk about EVs, as you say, a fleet or a delivery company, a logistics company, those vehicles really have defined routes. They have, real set parameters that they drive every day. They don't exceed those parameters, so they're almost perfect for EVs because it isn't a thing of having range anxiety. If you know that vehicle is only going to be driving 350 kilometers every day, then it doesn't need a 700 kilometer battery pack, for example. So you're taking out the variables, and when it comes to electrification, those variables are often it gives people that kind of anxiety of will I find the next charge point. As you say, there's a fixed home base, there's a fixed route every day. It almost makes it ticks all the boxes. But what do you think is holding people back from making that transition to large scale fleet electrification?
I think it's because you don't know what you don't know. And when I talk to fleet managers, I tend to say to them, what are your KPIs? And know these are the questions you should be asking. Here's the case studies I've been involved with my suppliers around the world. Let's do it a step at a time, and let's share knowledge from different fleets to help these people move forward. And I think that's getting more interest. People start to understand nothing to be afraid of. But they do understand you have to look at your fleet from a holistic viewpoint. What vehicles do I use? Where's my charging infrastructure? How I'm going to use it overnight? How I cope with load shedding and solar panels? But also how I manage my drivers. because drivers is always important to the fleet, even more than EVs, because with the torque you get from an EV, you can get superb acceleration where your range suddenly plummets. So there's a big holistic approach to take, which is why we're getting some traction, if you pardon the phrase, in the marketplace, because we take a broad view on what a fleet really needs to address to go to an EV fleet.
Fantastic. And I think when we talk of fleets, I mean, I know people watch this probably conjure up images of, heavy logistics trucks, but I mean, that's not what we're just talking about here. I mean, a fleet is by definition, is any large group of vehicles. So we're talking to people who maybe operate a lot of, delivery motorcycles all the way up to courier companies and small vans, and obviously your heavy logistics guys. Do you see the benefits being across the board, regardless of what type of vehicle you have?
I'm agnostic of the type of vehicle to do. Although it's interesting, in South Africa, 25% of all new vehicle registrations are the normal panel van, which local delivery people tend to use. And there is some issues to be taken care of, because each EV vehicle gives the state of charge in a slightly different way. Once you've got around that problem, it's the same issues affecting the whole of the fleet. How I charge, how I run my fleet, how I manage my drivers. But it also gives fleet managers an opportunity to look again at what they're doing and how they do it and how they address their routes. And it gives them a lot more flexibility to become more efficient, and use it as a rationale to say, let's improve things on how we used to do things in the past.
Fantastic. Paul, I mean, we promised to keep this short and sweet. Maybe before we let you go and carry on with your day, leave us with one little gem of information, something that our attendees at EMCSA this year can look forward to hearing from you. What's the big sell when it comes to electrification of the fleet vehicles that you're going to share with our colleagues come April?
My view is you need to get on board now. A lot of the big fleets are already there, although they're keeping their head below the PR radar. If you don't get on board now, you're going to get left behind. These EV fleets will have more efficiencies, and they'll be able to lower their cost of ownership, and you'll find it difficult to compete. Don't be scared. Raise your hand. Ask the silly questions, and there's a lot of data there we can share with you to make your life easy.
Fantastic. Well, Paul, thank you very much for our short coffee chat. It's been wonderful chatting to you today. For myself, Rob, and the whole EMCSA team, we really look forward to seeing you on our panel discussion come April at EMCSA, and talking more about this really important topic. As we mentioned earlier, electrification and e-mobility isn't just about your normal passenger vehicles, but these easy wins. And when we talk about fleet electrification, it sounds like you've really dare I say, you really know your stuff. So excited to hear you speak at the Congress this year, and thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Rob. Look forward to seeing you in April and helping the whole debate move forward.
Fantastic, Paul. Have yourself a great afternoon. From myself, Rob, and the whole EMCSA team, thank you for joining us with another Coffee with EMCSA session.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.